Hi year two, welcome to your science lesson for today. Today we're learning all about growing and changing. Last week we learned all about life cycles. So a life cycle shows us the stages that a living thing goes through during its life. And if you remember, all living things have a life cycle. So humans, animals, plants, anything that is living all have life cycles and they go around and around and around. This week, we're learning all about the life cycle of humans. That's us. How exciting. And I'm just going to show you a short video before we carry on with the slides.
This is Edna Bumcrank. She's rather old. But of course she hasn't always been like this. I wouldn't do that if I were you, burglar, because when she was younger, Edna used to be a ninja. Let's rewind a bit more. Oh, we've gone too far. Oops. No, hang on. Actually, I think that is Edna, right at the beginning of her life cycle. Let's zoom in. Yes, that is her. She's growing inside her mum, and she's very, very tiny, smaller than a dot from a pencil. And you were that small once too. Let's fast forward again. She's now about the same size as an apple. Now she's got to a very big step in the life cycle, being born. Let's keep going. And now, yes, now she's a teenager, and her body is changing. That's called puberty. And if we keep going forward, we'll see. Yes, there we are. Now she's a grown-up, and she's pregnant. That means that a whole new life cycle is starting.
Okay, I hope you liked that little video about Edna. Just a short little description about how we change during our life cycle. When you look at older people, they haven't always been old. I haven't always been old, year two. So have a think about how you have changed since you were a baby. If you have any little brothers and sisters, you can think about how different you are to them and how much you've changed because you used to be babies too. So we are going to look at the 6 stages of the human life cycle from when you were born and focus on the differences and changes that happen through these 6 changes. So there are more parts of the human life cycle, but we're focusing on the stages from when you are born. And those are 6 stages that we are going to focus on today. So stage 1 is babies. Life for humans starts when they grow inside their mother's womb. When babies are born, they need a grown-up, so an adult, to take care of them and give them everything you need. What do grown-ups need to do to take care of a baby? Again, if you have little brothers and sisters, you'll see what your parents do to look after your little baby brothers and sisters. But they need to feed them, they need to clean them, they need to change their clothes. There's not much that babies can do without the help of a grown-up. Stage 2 is toddlers. So toddlers are aged between 1 and 3. At this stage, toddlers learn how to talk and might start trying to do other things like feeding and dressing themselves. However, toddlers are still very young and need lots of looking after. They haven't yet learned how to keep themselves safe. So, although that they can do a lot more than a baby, they still need an adult to make sure that they keep themselves safe. Otherwise, they'll end up getting hurt. Stage 3 is a child. This is your stage of life. Children are aged between 3 and 12. During these years, you learn lots of new skills such as reading, writing, counting, kicking a ball, swimming, and riding a bike. And of course, lots more. Unlike with babies and toddlers, children don't need their parents all the time. Remember this when you're doing your quiz at the end of this lesson, okay? What changes are happening to you at the moment? Everyone have different changes happening to them at different rates. So for example, lots of you are losing your teeth at the moment. Maybe some of you haven't lost any teeth at all. Okay, so these things happen during the period of age 3 to 12. Okay, not everything happens all at the same time, but lots of changes happen to you at the moment. Stage 4, this is your next stage, but not until you're 12, year 2. This is the teenager stage. So teenagers are aged between 13 and 19. Ooh, teenager, 13, 19. There's a big clue there in the word teenager. Those are our teen numbers. Teenagers are getting ready to become adults. They eat a lot because they are growing and changing. So if you have an older brother or sister that's a teenager, the reason that they're eating all the food is because they're growing so fast at the moment. They can get some spots, their hair can change, and sometimes they can be a bit grumpy. So stage 5 is our adult stage. That's us teachers. We are adults. So once you are fully grown, you are an adult. Adults must exercise and make sure they eat healthily to keep their bodies working well. Adults can then have babies of their own. Who are the adults in your family? And how are they different from children? Sometimes I think I can be a bit silly and I can act a bit like a child sometimes, but I am actually an adult. So although we may have some similarities, adults and children, there are also lots and lots of differences. And stage 6, so this is the last stage that we'll be looking at today, is elderly. So as adults go through their lives, they get older. When adults turn 65, they are classed as elderly, although some 65-year-olds may not like to be called elderly. As their bodies age, they begin to slow down because their joints and muscles can start hurting. Elderly people have softer skin with wrinkles. So wrinkles is when your skin gets a little bit pushed together, and they often have grey or white hair. Now, obviously, this can happen a lot sooner than 65, but these are just the stages that we follow in our life cycle. So that's it. Now you have your Google quiz. I would like everybody to complete their Google quiz. It shouldn't take long at all. If you've listened to the lesson and followed the slides, you'll be able to do this easy peasy. Okay, so first of all, you just need to select the correct stage to match the picture. Okay, so stage 1 babies, stage 2 toddlers, stage 3 children, stage 4 teenagers, stage 5 adults, and stage 6 elderly. And that is the same for all of these pictures. You're just choosing the correct stage to match the picture. Once you've answered those questions, you're going to choose what stage might need these objects. So it's in the same order as the first questions. Who do you think might need a walking stick, some glasses, a comfy chair, some slippers, and some medicine? Okay, lots of stages might need these things, but the majority of which stage, who most do you think might need these objects? And that's the same for the next pictures. You have a dummy and a bottle, a bike, some Lego, some books. Ooh, do you think you might need these things, year 2? And finally, some blocks and some sand and a sippy cup. Who might need those? And then it gets a little bit trickier. There's a bit of reading involved here. You need to match what stage would need, what stage matches this information. So likes to try things on their own, eats a lot as they are growing very fast, new hormones to help them grow and change, might be moody or grumpy or have spots, okay? And then there's a few questions like that. So you need to read the information, think about who would need those things. And that's it, year 2. I hope you've enjoyed your science lesson for today and enjoy your afternoon. Bye, year 2.